Hi everyone, and welcome to Tap Into Your Creativity. Today's Saturday. We have amazing artist Ophelia Staton. I hope that she can join us now, and I'm just looking for her name now. I just talked to her, so hopefully she will join us as soon as she sees my story. So Ophelia, if you're out there and you're listening, just push into my little button where it says live, and you can just, I will bring you in to be live with me. So thank you everyone who came back, and let's just wait for Ophelia for a second here, and hopefully she can connect. I'm not sure what's going on, but hopefully she will join us any minute. So again, Ophelia, if you're out there, you can join us any minute now. Thank you guys for your patience. And oh, there she is! Yay! Okay, hold on. I'm bringing her now. So you are in for a treat. Ophelia is the most beautiful person. There she
Oh my
is!
gosh. Thank
Oh,
you. My tech department was away for a minute and she just got back and I was like, help me. You can close it. Thank you.
oh
How
my
are
goodness.
you?
Oh my God. I'm so happy
Oh
that
my
you're
gosh.
here today, and that you're joining me, and that you were
Yes.
able to connect. I
Woo,
started
that
to
was,
freak out for a minute. I'm like,
I
where is she?
literally
Where
was.
is she?
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy to finally even be on. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm now you see that I am not very tech savvy.
Well, you kind of are actually, because you are a teacher and you're helping thousands of kids at home. And
That
so
is true.
anyways, let's just start from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Ophelia, please tell me, yes, take a deep breath.
Deep
And
breath.
remember, it's a conversation between friends, right? It's
That is
just
right.
you and me, so it's
That is
all
right.
good.
Oh my
So
gosh.
tell me your name, where do you live, and where do you work?
Absolutely. I am Ophelia Staton. I live in Creedmoor, North Carolina. I am married with two children. My son is a senior in college in Massachusetts. My daughter is a 10th grader here. I teach high school visual arts. This is my third year, and I started 18, 19 years ago as a history teacher. And as a history teacher, I literally felt like I was in almost like a box where I wanted to be somewhere else or somebody else. So from like I would come up to my studio every day and kind of paint and play. And then it was like, okay, now you put your adult clothes on and we go to work. And I just could not do it anymore. So I let go of all the fear, went back to school, got my certification in visual arts education, and now I'm an art teacher.
You deserve an applause. You're
Oh my gosh.
amazing. Oh
Oh
my
my gosh.
goodness. Wow, what a determination on your part. And I applaud you for doing that. And, you know, this is for people to be inspired at home. There's no age to go back to school and get it, right?
Right. And I was so very afraid, which again, it's that fear. I was so very afraid because I'm not trained as an artist. I just know that there is such a passion in me, like to create things. And so that just kind of drove everything. Like, just, we have to do it and do it now and don't look back. Just do it.
100%. So tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah.
Were you always in North Carolina? No.
Nope. I grew up in Sumter, South Carolina. My parents had, there's five of us girls. So my dad, I always would see videos of people that said, like, I've been drawing or painting since I could hold a crayon. And for me, it was just polar opposite. Like, my parents are creatives. And so my dad was in commercial construction. My mom was a mom of five children. And so she loved to bake. And I guess I grew up around watching people make things out of nothing. So that was always just in my being, I guess. I don't remember like drawing when I was little or painting when I was little, but I do remember creating things. Like we just had the space, I guess, to create. So for me as a child, I did not watch TV or anything, but if you gave me a mud pile and like bottle caps, I would turn that mud pile into a city, and the bottle caps would be the cars and the rocks would be, and so I would make whole towns on a road. It was that kind of thing, that I just kind of grew up around. My aunts are artists, and quilters, but I just love to create things with my hands. I was that child that needed to do something with my hands always, or else there was going to be trouble.
Oh my goodness. So fast forward into like your senior year in high school. Where are you right now? What's going through your mind?
Mm, 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 oh my gosh. So, do you know how, and mine was, I distinctly remember third grade, and we had those like career days at school.
Oh yeah.
And I remember and I remember this as vividly as though it were yesterday, when, in prep, it's Thursday is going to be career day, so get it together. And I just remembered I had three things in my head that I knew it was there. So I either wanted to be a firefighter, a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, or an artist. And so, everybody was there. My teacher, Miss Potter, was there. And like it was, she had us all lined up, and all of the students, down the row. And I remember standing there like, just pick one, just pick one, just pick one. And so, you listen to like a doctor, a lawyer, a pilot, and oh my gosh, she's getting closer to me because oh my God, pick one, Ophelia, pick one. And so when it finally got to my turn, like, okay, pick one, and out of my mouth flew artist. I don't know why. And I just remember the look that she gave me, and it was kind of down her nose, like,
Yeah.
you will, and her words were, you will never amount to anything other than selling peanuts at a football game. And that moment I was like, okay, so then art is it's not for me. And I remember I would never touch anything art related. I never took any art classes in high school, but deep, 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 way deep down, I knew that I still loved creating things, but I just never put a title to it. So fast forward, it was still in the back of my head, and it was senior year of high school. What do we want to do now, Ophelia? And I was like, you know what? My parents never made college an option. You just graduated high school, you went on to college, boom. So then it was just, the world is out there. Pick the one that you want to be. And so I went into law enforcement. Like, my degree is criminal justice. And which, when I say now that I look back at third grade, Ophelia was traumatized, right? But today I am where I am supposed to be. And it's been a journey. I think now, like, look at me, Miss Potter. I'm an artist and I'm teaching art. So there you are.
And there you go.
But I ended up being where I'm supposed to be. And so that it teaches me the kind of teacher that I should always be, where I never ever like look down my nose and tell someone that's not for you. But it helped. She and the whole journey back there helped me be the person that I am. And
so criminal justice, were you in that for a while? What did you do with that?
I was juvenile probation for many years, and I love working with children. I think, you know how we all have our calling, and mine is to just be with the littles. Like it's just something that's so exciting, and something that my dad used to tell us way back, like, when you find what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And it's so true. Like, it's just, it's, I can't even put it into words just how much, like, I just love it. I'm now in the right place doing the right thing, and I just love it.
And I'm sure your students, like even Sandra, would love to give you a hug because you have that mama bear comforting. Yes, you really do. You have this comforting feeling about you, and I'm sure that all these kids you have, just in, affected their lives in such a positive way.
That's my
So
That's totally my hope. And I just love it. It's so deep in my being that it's not even a job. You know what I'm saying? It's just what I'm called to do. So I just,
yeah.
yep.
And you know what is interesting is the one person, how can it affect your life in such a dramatic way, right? It could be a
Absolutely.
positive way, it could be a negative
Absolutely.
way. And now, like you said, looking back, you wouldn't be who you are if you didn't go through all the things that you needed to be. But, you kind of do have that question mark, like, what if she would have said 100% go for your gut, it will work out,
Absolutely.
you just
Yep.
don't know, right? It's like that,
Absolutely. Yep.
kind of
And
thing
so
there.
yep, I never question it. I just use that as, it's almost like that was the worst that could be done to me. So
Right.
bring it, world. What else could
Right.
you do? So it's
Exactly.
like a propeller forward in, where anything that you're afraid of, or anything that is hard, you push. And even with my son today, I tell him, just always keep it in the back of your mind when people doubt you and say, like, oh, you can never do, just in your head, just go, I'll show you. You don't have to
Yeah.
say a word.
And
Just
I think that people that have that power, which are teachers or ministers or rabbis, anyone who is, in a position to influence your life, have to listen to who you are as a person,
right,
and
right.
just listen and encourage that
Yep.
instead of discourage what you want, unless you want to be a Dallas cheerleader.
I still don't know why that one. I don't know. No idea why that was even one. But yeah,
Oh my God!
third grade
I
Ophelia.
will take that forever, Ophelia. That's just hilarious.
Third grade Ophelia, right there.
Right, right. Can you show us around your studio and just tell us a little bit about your studio now? Like, where do you work? Do you work in a room of your house? Do you have a separate studio?
Nope. Because I work inside my house. My studio is a spare room. And of course, because I'm technologically challenged a bit, we're going to try this. But my studio is a room in my home. And I like that because when your inspiration hits, like for me, I have to move. And my move is usually 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And so
Oh God!
yeah, I know. I grab my cup of coffee and I head up to my studio. And that trick came when my son was little. And I could not figure out for the life of me why I felt so, like, you love that little bundle of joy, but I was so like, something's missing. And it dawned on me that when he woke up, my day was over. And so I had to make my day start way before his day started. And so I would just like get up at a ridiculous hour in the morning, get in my paint time, and then by the time he woke up, I'd already made myself complete. So then it was all about him. So we're
I
going to
think there's
try this.
something to say about that, because I think that you created a routine where, you started your day almost, for you, painting must have been like a meditative kind of thing, like
Def-
your exercise of the day. Mentally, you could relax. You
Yep,
could be in a different state to receive the day with your son, you
absolutely.
know?
Absolutely. It made all the difference in the world. And I know I've heard people that say, like, take care of you, put your mask on before you put someone. And I was like, "Ooh, what does that even mean?" And then one day it just hit me like, why am I always the angry bear? Oh, it's because I didn't take time for myself first. So this is the space where I create.
Okay.
Um, and I'm going to try to carefully move this around. I've got some
Oh,
new paintings here. Um,
this is Ophelia's new collection, you guys, and we're going to talk about it, but it's actually available for sale.
mhm, mhm.
And it's the first day that she's showing this collection.
Oh,
So make sure that you DM her or myself for pricing for this. She created another piece that we're going to talk about for my
oh,
COVID
definitely.
project,
Yep.
but this is her like launch of her new collection. So you guys get like first dibs. So like, let's get this whole collection sold today.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be great? So, below that, I have, and I'm going to try to do this without my trusty daughter's help. This is my palette and like my table.
Okay.
And this is literally where I'm going to go back to myself for a second. But down here is where the magic, if that even makes sense. But that's where, for me, the magic happens. And so every morning, like, even if you have a dining room table or a kitchen table, when I say you make it your space, however it is that you want to make it your space, whatever you have to do. It doesn't have to be a ginormous space. It's just yours. I am just, this room, I guess it should have been my kids' playroom, but they play in their own room. So okay. But so this space is almost like my sanctuary. And things here, um, it's like my safe space. And so every morning I, get my coffee, I come up here, I sit at my desk, I journal. Um, I love to light an incense or, that kind of thing, and just kind of like take a moment for me before the world wakes up and does its own thing. Um, but this room just brings me such joy. I don't have any other words to use, but just it's a sanctuary that just brings me joy. And um, I can say things with paint that I can't say to people. And so this is where I'm totally myself.
And I totally relate with that, because as creatives, no matter what kind of creator you are, you have that space that you create for
Mhm.
yourself, and you treat it with a lot of respect.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
you approach it with that knowledge that it's your sacred time for yourself, where
Mhm.
you don't have your cell phone necessarily, where maybe you have your music on, where you put yourself in this mental place where you can then create, and that is your best self coming out of you. And
Absolutely.
so what you're saying is that your language comes through your paintings,
It does.
and
It
you can
totally
tell
does.
because your paintings, and now maybe you can show us a little bit more of the artwork that's on the new collection. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
um, let's go through that again, because we saw that very quickly. So tell us a little bit about your thinking process, and has it affected you in any way, shape, or form through COVID, or do
Oh,
you think that you have continued the same path as you had before?
okay. So since it's a conversation amongst friends,
Yes.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was just speaking to my friend Kim Maselli, who is an incredible artist here in North Carolina. And I literally told her this morning, I feel as though during our whole lockdown, I could have learned a new language. I could have painted galleries, but I became one with my couch and Netflix. To be honest, that's literally all I did. It was like I, the world got ugly. I just disconnected, and I was, when I say it, I guess it was just a creative funk, or I was just dry. I still made it a practice to come up to my studio every day, like to make sure everything was still safe, and to and to just make sure that it's all good. And I would sit in my chair and look around and go, yeah, this was good. And I would walk away. Like, I would put out paint and kind of like, nothing just resonated with me. Nothing, I don't even know what it was. Nothing even would come. And so I remember way back when I got the phone call or the email from you that popped up, and I was like, oh, a chance to paint and be with other artists. Yeah. And so I literally read the email, flipped on my Netflix. And when I say as a child, I never watched TV. I watched more TV in that 3 month span than I did my entire life. If that lets you know how things were going. And so your email came like, hey, I'd love for you to join this community of artists. And I thought, okay, yay. And so I kind of flagged it and went back to Netflix, and weeks vanished. And then I think I received another email and I was like, oh, that's right. So I looked at it again and I was like, a reason to paint something. Let's just go up there and see what happens. And so the piece that I created is behind us. But that was just a way of taking a canvas and just when I say pulling yourself out of a funk, it just, my paints never let me down. My space never rejects me. And so it was just a great reminder of the magic of my space here.
Oh, my heart is full. Oh,
It really was. So I literally used that canvas as a way to just kind of pull myself out of the dark and heavy world that we were in. Like, I could not make sense of anything. Like, the food shelves were empty, blah, blah, blah. But here, it was like just one foot in front of the other, one color on top of one color on top of one color. And for me, when I get here and I start putting out my paints, it's almost like everything else around you just pauses. And again, one layer, one mark, one this, one that. My music's going, I'm sweating, and it's like, whew,
oh, I'm so excited to hear that maybe I contributed like this much for you to get out of that couch, you know?
that
And
much. And when I say like I cannot thank you enough for the fact that, yep, you pulled me back from the TV. I broke up with the TV thanks to you. But you pulled this whole community of artists together for a common good. And you saw nothing for Sandra. It was just something that you just wanted it to do. And so, yes, you played a huge part in getting Ophelia to get herself back on track for this good that you're doing for the
Oh, God, I don't even know what to say. I mean, this is why I started this. This is
world.
exactly why I started this, to be able to inspire someone at home. So if I did that for you, and which it sounds like I did, my heart is full and I have completed my work. Okay, see you everyone. Goodbye. I'm done now.
And done. Yeah, I get
Exactly.
it.
Cut.
I totally get it. And so out of that, it's like once you build that momentum and, I finished that piece and I looked at that piece and I named that piece All the Right Moves, because it felt as though everything just started falling off, and I'm in here and I'm in the zone, and so then you put that canvas aside and you pick up another one, and right over here behind me are stacks, as artists, of canvas waiting to be painted. So literally I would finish one and I'd put down another one, and I'd finish that one and and it was like, whew.
Oh, I'm
There you
so
are.
glad. I'm so happy because it really, you can see your beautiful soul coming through them. It's a beautiful compositions that you have. The
Oh,
color palettes are so happy and so, you know, just you can breathe through them. It
oh
it
my God.
feels that you can breathe, you
Yes.
know? And I think that you were stuck on the breathing part, and now all of a sudden you started to breathe and be in your space. And this is what happens. And you know, it really, like you said, it's really speaking through everything you wanted to say, because they
Mhm.
are so hopeful, and you know, like a new beginning maybe
Yes,
for everyone, you know, for
absolutely.
yourself, but you know, it's a new beginning for you because you were so stuck.
Oh my,
And I
oh,
think that as artists, we don't talk enough about how much we get stuck and
oh,
how much those juices don't flow. And, you know, and we get freaked out and panicked when that happens, because you think that you will never be able to paint again. Or
absolutely.
you look at a painting and you're like, how did I even do that? I don't even know how to do that.
Oh my
Right?
gosh, you nailed it. Because there are times when, like, I'll leave a painting here, and the next morning I walk in and I'm like, oh, I did that. Like,
Right. Right.
that's me, where I'm at the place now that I literally had dreams of being, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
I finally found Ophelia. Like, um, and I'll tell you, when I first started even picking up a paintbrush, I of course signed up for all the workshops. Like, it's because, and I would like pick my favorite artists, the ones that I knew, like, oh yeah, I
Right,
really
right,
like their
right.
um, pick their workshop, sign up for the workshop, buy all of the supplies for the workshop. Um, and I could not figure out why I was not creating paintings. It dawned on me, and when I say, like, I would sign up for the workshop and I was that student, I would haul in a truck of stuff that I've now accumulated, and I would get my space all set up, and here it is. Okay, and so if the teacher said, like, you need this brush, I would not even look. I would not even hesitate. I would bounce out of my chair, run into the store, get the brush, come back, and I'm like, okay, yeah, now I've got the brush. Here we go. And I still could not create anything. And then it dawned on me, Ophelia, after, when I say, Sandra, years, this brush was not the magic, because my brush was still brand new because I was busy chasing things, but it was this brush that made the difference. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
so,
God, yes.
yeah. And so I literally realized that I wanted to be that artist, which is impossible because I had to be me, which means I had to learn to paint for me. And that was hard. Like I wasted so much time wanting to be other people on their journey when it was not my journey. It was not who I am. And so I would never find my style
But
because I would find
it's not, you're not alone. We
yeah,
all go through it. And
absolutely.
we all say, I want to be this. I want to paint like that. And we're never satisfied
Absolutely.
with, and that's life, right? We're never satisfied with what we have. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that now more than ever, we've learned to not only be satisfied, but be so grateful and so happy
Yes.
with everything that we have. We have so much. And yes, Corona has been awful. And, 2020 has been just insane. And the
Just
fires in California have been insane.
yes.
But on the flip side of things, we've learned to be more simple, to live a simpler life, and to
Absolutely.
understand that we don't need that new brush.
Absolutely.
We don't need to,
Yep.
just, you
This
can
new
just
brush.
be, yes,
Yep.
you can go
Will
back
make
to
it better.
that brush and go back and find that happiness and have that incredible satisfaction of knowing that what you're doing is enough.
That's exactly it. And the fact that buying the new brush was not going to make me the painter. It was putting the 40,000 miles on the brush that was going to help me find my style and who I was. And so I literally, for the longest time, if a teacher that I admired collected, they used this paints, then I bought those paints. If they used this canvas, I bought that canvas, that journal. And so I took a workshop, another one, and that one was the last one because this teacher, Lisa Creed, was phenomenal as a teacher. And she became my friend. But it was a 6 weeks class here in our arts council. And of course I rolled in my truckload worth of stuff, and I had paints and anything that anybody needed in the class, I had it. And so, every Monday night I would come in, and there was probably a group of, say, 10 of us. And one girl over here was painting a new series on roosters, and one girl over here was flowers because she had a big show, and and Ophelia and Ophelia. And so I sat at my canvas, and I'd get my space all set up and putting all of my paints out, and people would walk by and be like, "Oh my God, that's such a pretty color." And I'm like, "Here, just take it, because it's not serving Ophelia." So the teacher would walk by, and she would go, "Just add graphite." And she would walk away, and I was like, "Can you help me get this painted? Because I'm making mud. I have no clue what I'm doing." But she was genius in the fact that she made me figure it out. And for 6 weeks, I sat there creating mud. Like, all of my canvas were filled with like green, yellow, brown, blah, blah. And people had, like, the one lady had finished her whole rooster series, and I sat there with a canvas. And the teacher finally came over on like week 4, and she said, "Don't you worry, your paints will speak to you." My paints are angry because they're silent. And I kept going. And for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, I just like, and she was bound and determined. She would walk by and go, "Add graphite or maybe yellow." And that was it. She would walk away
Because she
because
let you grow. She let you
absolutely,
figure it out. She let you
absolutely.
figure out your own path. And
That's
so that,
exactly.
that in itself speaks volumes of that teacher.
Yep.
And I think it was Audrey Phillips, who is also a teacher, and she said, minimize the materials. Don't go, just buy 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 things and
Uh-huh.
work with 5 things, because you go to the art store and you find 150 things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thousands of things, not
Coming over with
150.
that.
You want everything. And you
Yep.
think by buying all the new and better things that are coming out, that your own artwork will look like that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's not true. So by minimizing the amount of materials for someone who's overwhelmed, just start with very simple things. Start with primary colors, start learning the color wheel, how many, colors you can combine with 5 colors, and then, start adding things. But you really don't need much to start. And it is the showing up. It's right. It's
Yep.
the routine.
That's
It's the
exactly
showing
it.
up, because as artists, no one tells us you have to be there at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We put our own hours, so it is even harder as a professional artist to put that into our own lives, because if you don't show up, nothing happens,
That's
right?
exactly it.
So
And she made it to where it was very uncomfortable. I made mud on canvas for weeks, and she made me suffer through it
oh
to
yeah,
get to the other side.
oh yeah,
And that's what made me find who I was, because she said it is in the painting, and your paints will speak to you, but you have to get to know the materials. And me, I was just like, I want it yesterday, and I want to be great at it. No, that
and
was
what you see like on social media, the final
there
piece,
you
right?
are.
It takes so
You
much to get to that final piece.
absolutely
So,
it
so
takes
know
that
that there's a
40,000.
yes, that's the 40 miles that we're
Yep,
talking about. So
that's
it takes
exactly it.
40, 50,000, 100 miles to get to that one painting that you're showing on
Yep,
Instagram. Just to
that's
know, just for people to know that at home. So,
yep,
Ophelia, you are going to show us a little bit. You're going to treat us with how you start activating a canvas.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, I'm gonna flip myself back, and um blank canvas.
Yes.
What I like to do here is I keep
What is your choice of materials? Yeah, show us.
yes, okay. I keep myself this little container of mark making tools, um, because I always start every canvas with showing the canvas who's boss. I know that sounds weird, but it's just my way to show up. So I love to use, like, my favorite, all-time favorite dark mark maker is a Jerry's Jumbo Jet black pencil. This guy just kind of gives me really dark marks that I love. It's not like a graphite shine, but just really, really dark marks. And then I use just a regular HB pencil to make my baby marks. And
Okay.
so if I ever find when I'm painting and I get stuck, I go back to my mark makers. Um, I also have colors that I like to use, like Derwent colored pencils, or I don't even know. These are like your Create a Color, but
Yeah.
they're jumbo.
Yeah.
And I love to scratch into wet paint with these. As far as like water solubles, I like the Derwent ink tints pencils, because then you can mush and make all sorts of things with those. I love using acrylic paint. That is just, I guess it's because it's what I learned on. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what.
You feel comfortable in. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I literally will, I'm going to come back over to where I was. I literally will start with my Jumbo Jet Black,
Okay.
and just to kind of show up and who's the boss of you. I will, like, no rhyme, no reason, just kind of scribble, right? And
And
then
that's what we call activating the canvas.
I will just, when I say I show up, I have no plan. I am that kind of gal. I just start pulling things out, and what happens is, I guess, the magic of it. And I look back, if somebody says, "Hey, will you create for me a I have no idea where that came from, so I can never do it again.
Right.
So I just pulled 2 colors, and I'm feeling blue. So I just kind of, right, got myself some marks down. This canvas is no longer a scary space. And then because I let the canvas know who's the boss. I now have to come back and apologize. And so by that, I have put some white paint on my canvas, on my palette. And I will now just get some paint and kind of come back and apologize and make it all back to the way that it was, kind of like I am the boss, but okay, we're going to do this together.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
oh my God, I love that.
I just started adding, but do you see how, I don't know if you can pick it up, that black pencil kind of smudges and it gives me a gray, which then I can like, okay, I just now with the white that I've got going on top of it, I can now say, all right, what color maybe do we want? And if I don't want to start out so very strong, maybe I will, see, this is where I just kind of, I guess the one thing for me is I have to stay out of my head because my head is the worst place that you can be.
Well, and now you're painting with me, which is, which we'll be doing more often from our previous conversations. I think that we are together in this forever.
Very kindred, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, and so, I mean, I'm just so happy that you're showing us how, the process goes, because it's not as easy as everybody can think it would be.
True.
And
True.
I know that you have the piece that you created for the Art COVID project. And can you please show us that now?
Absolutely.
And we have amazing news because this piece has sold for Feeding America.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I was just stunned because we create things just for me, especially just for the joy of creating. And when someone says, oh, I really love that. At first I was like, wait, what, me? What? Like my work? So it's still like, you have no idea how it totally warms my entire soul when someone says, oh, I love your work. I love your work and I want to purchase your work.
Yeah,
like
there's nothing better than that.
Absolutely. I still tear up so much because it's like they purchase a bit of you.
Yeah, it's a validation that where your path is what you should be doing, because some, other people are seeing what you're seeing in yourself. That's
exactly it.
Yes. So let's just say we made $350 more for Feeding America, which it's an equivalent of 3,500 meals. So we as Army of Artists are over $15,000, $1,500 for Feeding America. So just by saying that, I am blown away.
It gives me chills because like I am just a small part of what you're doing, but all of us together, and I think that's even it with all of us together, like boom.
It's a boom, and you're not a small part of it. You're a big part of it. And every single artist that has joined me in this incredible journey of giving back and giving back where it's really needed I can't even tell you how my heart is full. And but I just want to say before we let Ophelia go that her beautiful, can you turn again and put yourself in front of the wall? And if you guys have any questions, this is the time to ask questions. This is Ophelia's new collection. Her prices are insane. You must go right now and purchase this because they will not last. They are beautiful, beautiful as, one question is, what is the white that you use? Lucas. I use Lucas too.
Yeah.
I love Lucas.
Just regular acrylic paints. When I say I I am you guys can probably tell by now I'm just not the fanciest person. I just kind of get what I can find at my local art supply store. I am not one that it's like, oh, I only use, nope, everything goes. If I see a color that I love, I get that color. And it works.
Do you prefer heavy body or more like liquid acrylics, or you don't care?
I use some heavy body. I will tell you, I like the way I'm getting used to new glasses, but I like the way that your paint kind of flows and dances on the canvas. So I will take like a heavier body paint and either the dampness from my brush or like adding in a glazing medium
Medium.
that kind of helps me, because for me it is a dance. It is, oh my oh
I always say that, Ophelia, which is even more funny that you're saying that, because I always think that I'm dancing with my canvas. So it's
yes,
an in and out movement that I do with them.
absolutely,
And,
yes.
you know, it's informing me, and I'm dancing back and I'm coming back in. And it's just, you know, that way that I always call my dancing with my
Yeah,
canvas, you
yeah.
know? And
And
so,
for once my
yeah.
parents actually speak to me now, like, but we're all friends here. They totally speak to me. And that truckload of paints that I had collected, I now use. And like I use up a whole bottle of white paint because Ophelia goes to work at it every day.
Right.
And what it just makes my whole being just so happy that I can lose myself in this space and create the things that I love. Like I look at every one of these paintings and I don't know how, but my paintings always take on like a landscapey feel. And it's almost like I'm being called to like a little small village somewhere,
Right.
or and so I just love, oh my gosh, I wish you guys could just be in here right now to just like, for once, I am happy with who I am and what I'm creating.
Oh, it's just, I mean, how amazing. You can't get any better than that, right? It's just like, it is unbelievable that we have that feeling. We have that collection. You can get one. You guys, you have to just jump on this incredible new collection.
Oh,
Your soul comes through it. People are saying you're lovely. You need your own day. We made $350 more for